Hello, hello. Welcome, everyone. If you're here with me live, go ahead and say hello in the comments so I can see you. I'm gonna go ahead and make sure that this is all working. And yes, we are on. Okay, so you are absolutely in the right place right now on this wonderful Friday, right after a holiday. And if you are struggling with sales, if you feel like sales is really icky, if you feel like it is, hey Stacia, if you feel like it is something that you avoid like the plague, you're going to love this because we're going to dive even deeper than we did in part one. So this is Selling is Sexy and Spiritual part 2. If you haven't listened to part 1, it's here in the group. It's also up on our podcast, the Feminine CEO podcast, or the feminineCEOpodcast.com rather. Some of the things we talked about last time, we talked about the truth about your content and marketing that can overwhelm your prospects, leaving them feeling like they don't need your services. So you want to hear that part. Why shifting your message to create desire and the lean in factor is so important. How to know if you're giving too much or if you're not being of service during your enrollment conversations. I covered 3 things that you need to overcome in order to master an enrollment conversation. I gave you a very powerful reframe that you can use to shift your mindset in your enrollment calls, and there was so much more. So thank you to Stacia for putting the timestamps on the last episode that we did. Hi, Elizabeth. I'm so glad that you're here. So yes, we have so much more to get into today. And I just want to be really, really real. Last night, I was thinking about today's call and I don't know if any of you ever do this before you're about to lead a training or some kind of video or anything like this where you're connecting with potential clients. And if you ever get yourself like really ramped up where you go, oh my God, I have to prepare, I have to do all this stuff. Like, what am I going to say? What am I going to talk about? Even though I have tons to say on this topic, there was that feeling of getting kind of in that masculine, sort of toxic masculine, like pushing mode. And I did not want to feel like that. I was just at my parents' house and had dinner. And so I went and I took a shower in the dark. Who does that? It's really nice. I have my eucalyptus oil in there, essential oil, and I breathed that in, and I just kind of like, it wasn't a shower necessarily to get clean. It was just to get in the shower and just have that water, going over me. And it's like a little spa moment, right? So I'm having my spa moment, and I started getting all of these downloads, which I took notes on when I got out of the shower. So I have a lot to share with you. And what came to me is that we need to go a lot deeper into the energetics, the feeling behind how we relate to sales, how we relate to this concept of selling our stuff, right? Selling our programs. So I want to do that with you today. I want to support you in really moving into this space where you love selling, like you love it. You just love the whole process of it. So we're going to break down the process. We're going to talk about it in a different way. I want to share about it from the perspective of the divine feminine. So if we were looking at it from that perspective, how would we see the process? I'm going to talk about the 5 yucky energies I've identified. Actually, Kwaku and I came up with these together a couple of years ago. We're going to walk you through those so that you can see when you might have been in those energies. What else am I going to do? I'm just going to give you whatever I have, all that was coming to me last night, and see if we can get ourselves together as a community, as a collective, to kind of step into that vibe, if that makes sense. Denise says, yes, the energetics. Awesome. Daniela, I hope you're coming. I saw that she's commenting as well on a different post. Okay, how do we want to do this? Before we start, some of you, I see a lot of you are already working with me, so that's awesome. For those of you that aren't, we have a 3-day sale going on. It's today, tomorrow, and Sunday for Attract Your Soul Tribe. There's $100 off. It would be crazy if you didn't enroll this weekend. And I'll tell you why as we go forward. But in that program, everything that I'm going to talk about today, you will embody, you will implement, you will actually have my eyeballs on your marketing message, on your offer that your coaching offer, and you'll have my support all the way till January 7th. So I will talk more about that towards the end, but of this moment, we have 16 spots, and that is happening all weekend. So I really encourage you, if you've been feeling called to work with me at any point and haven't had an opportunity, if you've been seeing results around Attract Your Soul Tribe and some of the people that have been in it, and you've been wanting those kind of results where you're attracting clients through social media, definitely private message me and we can talk about getting you in that program for $297 this weekend. Okay, so where do we want to begin? I think I'm going to begin with my notes that I took from the shower. Right, this is all about sexy, right? And I want to tell you something else. So when I got out of the shower, I came in my room and in this room and there was a lamp on. I turned the lamp off. Kwaku was taking care of Etta in the living room. She was getting to stay up late because, it's not a school night. And so I came in here, I turned the lights out, I had a candle on, I grabbed my phone to take these notes, and I took my towel off. So I'm just like passed out in the bed, no clothes on, like at 9:07 or something. I take these notes, I put the phone down, and I just go. And I didn't wake up again till this morning. I was really cold all night because I didn't have my pajamas on. But yeah, it was really nice to get out of that energy of I need to prepare exactly what I'm going to say on this live stream, and it's got to be perfect. And oh my God, I'm having a 3-day sale, and just to let that go and to trust that the message that needs to come through will come through. And I want to invite all of you to step into that same type of feeling, whether you have a sale going on or don't have a sale going on, or you just have ongoing efforts to draw people in who you're meant to work with, and you're just doing your regular marketing, right? It's like just being able to let go of the need for it to be a certain way. Okay. All right. So let's start. Got my notes here. Something that came to me was around the title of this, right? So selling is sexy. And I was, I'm in the shower, got my eucalyptus, and I'm just letting the messages emerge from me and through me instead of trying to think about what I need to say on this live stream. And so I'm asking myself, well, why? I mean, I came up with the name of this 2-part series, right? Selling is sexy and spiritual. And it was like, why do you believe that? Why is that important? What needs to be said about that? Okay, so let's break it down. Let's start with selling is sexy. Why is it sexy? Well, I want you to think about in terms of attraction in general. Okay, so I'm always using these examples. Let's use the relationship attracting a mate example. So what is sexy, right? Like, what is sexy? One thing I think a lot of people find sexy is confidence. Okay, so when someone is really embodied, really present in their body, right, and they're just owning it, right? Isn't that sexy when you see even like a woman of any size, any shape, who just feels comfortable, just feels really comfortable in her own skin. The way she expresses herself is confident. She's not like hiding or holding back. It's just like, this is me. This is who I am. Like, I'm owning what I'm saying. I'm owning my opinion. I'm owning my belief. I'm owning my self-expression. That's sexy. And so in terms of selling, right, in terms of you've got this gift, you've got this program that you've birthed, okay? You've got this message inside of you. You've got this consciousness that you're bringing that another soul group of people, or another soul group who are here on this plane, right, having their human experience, they're meant to learn from you. If you believe, this is the premise of what I teach, right? So I believe there's a soul group you're meant to serve. If you believe that too, right, then let's think about the attraction. How do we connect? We could just say, well, it's all energy and the people that are meant to you will just connect to you and you don't need to do anything. Well, again, we are having a human experience, right? And so there's this human filter that's going on. And that's also the game that we're playing. That's the big game that we're playing, is we're here having a human experience, which means we've got all kinds of blocks, limiting beliefs. We've got our this very strong filter we were born in with. We've got how the planets were aligned when the day we were born. I mean, we have our personality. There's so much there that gets to be, released. Like, we get to evolve, we get to experience this deeper evolution of ourselves. And there's other people who are only going to experience their next level of evolution by connecting with you. So when we look at like what's attractive and how can selling be sexy, what we're really looking at is how can we liberate ourselves and remove all of these blocks and like be fully in our truth, right? Isn't it really alluring and sexy and enticing when someone's just owning their truth? And so when it comes to your program, you want to remove anything that's in the way of you not feeling 100% total confidence, total clarity. And it's not your program, usually it's you. It's something within you. So let's kind of move into why it's spiritual, okay? So you have birthed a program, you've birthed an offering. And this offering, this coaching program, it is your divine message, or a divine message that's coming through you. So one of the things that can help you be totally confident and have such a high level of certainty, because people buy certainty, okay? They do. When they feel certain that you are holding this strong container for them, they want to step into that. They want to be held in the power that is you so that they can move into their transformation. So let's talk about being present in the stages of selling, similar to how you would be present in the stages of pregnancy and birth. So for those of you that have had babies, or you can imagine this if you haven't, a woman who's pregnant is being present in all of these stages, right? There's a stage when her breasts get really full and really heavy and really sore, and it's like just being present with that part, like knowing this is part of pregnancy. The part where you're throwing up in the morning, right? The part where your belly is like swelling, the part where you're going into labor, right? All of these different stages, there's so many more, but all of these stages require us as women to be really, really present and in the moment. And that's also what's required in selling, right? It's not about thinking about what you're going to say 2 steps ahead of now, right? At the same time, before you give birth, you might have a doula, you might learn how to breathe, you're going to learn all these tools and strategies. But if you try to plan it all out exactly how it's going to be, or you get really attached, this is why we don't like sales scripts, or we don't want to rely on sales scripts, right? Because if you get too attached to doing it a certain way, birth is unpredictable, right? You can't be attached. And so if you think about what you're offering, whether you have a sale going on now, whether you're just wanting to enroll people in your programs today, tomorrow, the next day, if you are too attached to the end result, if you're trying to think about what you're going to say to what they say, you're going to be out of the moment. And I think what makes a really good coach is that our ability to be in the moment and be present. So that's what makes it sexy. That's what makes selling sexy, right? Because it's not about being 5 steps ahead of someone. It's not about pre-planning every single thing that you're going to say. It's about you being fully present, fully in your truth. It's about you having 100% certainty about your program, right? Because people want to step into something where there's this energy of confidence. So thinking about this concept of pregnancy is being pregnant with a divine message, right? Like, especially if you're birthing a new program and you're just wanting to get clients into it. Some of you have had programs for a long time that you're, always enrolling people into. If you can start to think about it in terms of being pregnant with this divine message and then moving that through you, for those of you who are stuck in that part of getting that program offering up and running, letting it move through you, like realizing that there's these steps and stages that you're going through. And if you can trust each of those stages, you'll be not in resistance, and it'll come through, and it doesn't have to take 9 months like a baby does. So something else I want to talk about is our ability to give and receive at the same time. That's another piece that I'll give you a quick example. I've led maybe 7 or 8 retreats now, and the first 3 or 4 retreats, I would literally hyperventilate before each one. And I would do what I started to do last night, like, oh my God, what am I going to say tomorrow? Blah, 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 but on a level 100. And so before these retreats, I would get myself in such a level of angst and worry, and I would be like yelling at my family and just like going crazy because I wanted it to be perfect. I wanted the house that we rented to be perfect. I wanted to have all these worksheets and papers, and I wanted all these things together. And when I talk about the 5 yucky energies, I was probably in all of them. Okay. And so what was happening was I wanted to serve and give and deliver, but really I just wanted to be perfect. I wanted people to think that I did a good job. I wanted people to get results, so that would prove that I did a good job. And there was a lot of stroking my ego type of things, a lot of fear-based things that went into why I was acting that way. And then when people would come, I would just be like, cool as a cucumber. It's all good. And then on the breaks, I would be like kind of, frazzled again. Usually once I like got into it, I relaxed a lot, but the leading up was so uncomfortable and so painful. Now I don't prepare for my retreats hardly at all, and they're amazing. The last retreat we did, I probably did the very least planning, and even some of the things I planned didn't even need to happen. It was just sort of like automatic awarenesses and automatic ahas were happening, and I felt like I literally didn't do anything. But it was an amazing retreat. I just felt like I didn't do a whole lot, which was a really weird feeling for me. So going back to this concept of giving and receiving at the same time, when I was operating in that way leading up to the retreats, just like you might be operating this way leading up to an enrollment call, or even leading up to doing a marketing piece, like writing a post or making a video. If you're like amping yourself up and you're doing all this stuff like I was, for me, what I realized is I wasn't able to give and receive at the same time, right? I wasn't able to give from this place of total confidence and clarity and just love, right? And then also receive it back. It was like, I'm going to give, I'm going to give all this stuff. Most of it's so that I can prove my worth, right? I'm going to give all this stuff. And then I'm not even going to receive it. Like that wasn't even on the table. I'm just going to keep doing all these things so that I can prove that I'm good. So if people say yes to me on an enrollment call and they enroll in my program, then I'm worthy. If people don't enroll with me on a sales call, then I'm not worthy. Okay. So this points back to not being able to give and receive at the same time. Hi, Tracy. Who can relate to this? Who's ever done this? What happens is your tank is empty. And so then you run off octanes, like octane, I don't know what you call that, but you're just running off like the smoke or something. Eventually that leads to burnout. Okay. Hope this makes sense. What we want to do is think about enrollment as, some of you have studied divine union, right? Maybe not everybody, but thinking about, okay, this is a divine union. Every relationship I have with a client or a potential client, there's this underlying purpose and meaning at play, and I just want to be open to that, right? So what we can do is think of selling as, instead of you leaning in and trying to pull people towards you, this is even how you approach your marketing, right? or, pushing people, pushing or pulling, right? That whole energy. Instead of that, it's kind of like you're in this pool, right? You're in the pool and your prospects are all around you and you're like, hey, come in, the pool is so warm, the water is amazing, feels so good in here, oh yes, I'm loving it. And your prospect is out there and they're like, I'm really cold, I'm unhappy, you're like, hey, I got you, come on in, right? You're not begging them to come in. You're like, hey, you don't have to be out there freezing. You can come in here. It's warm in here. I'll show you how to swim. Okay. So this is the difference of the energy that we're doing. And even think about this in your marketing, right? You don't have to convince people, but you need to be convinced. Like if you're not 100% solid and sure about what you're offering, if you don't believe it, if you have any blocks, right? And remember, it's if you don't 100% believe in what you're offering, there's something going on there. Maybe you're not offering the thing that's a true expression of yourself, which, by the way, doesn't mean you need to get rid of your whole offering. I used to think that too. I'm like, oh my God, I need to start from scratch. My offering really hasn't changed for a few years now. The way I deliver it, the way I talk about it, the way I embody it is different now. I still kind of teach the same stuff. Okay. So for most of you, you don't necessarily need to go back to the drawing board and stop doing what you're doing. It's usually the way that you're showing up and teaching and coaching on what you're teaching and coaching on, the way you're doing your marketing. Okay, what else is on these notes? I've got so much here to share. If you are relating to this, let me know. If you want me to move into the 5 energies, let me know. Maybe it's time for that. Okay, let's see here. I think one thing I didn't mention is going through these stages of marketing and selling, as if relating that to the feminine process of giving birth. Okay, so marketing is leading up to those enrollment calls. So how can we be present? Who was telling me the other day that they don't like marketing and they don't want to do all that stuff? They just want to deliver their service. What if through your marketing, you're delivering your service, right? Like right now, this is enjoyable for me. This is pleasurable. Unless I do what I was starting to do last night and make it a big thing. But if I'm just being like speaking my truth and sharing, right? It's enjoyable. So I want you to think about this whole, like being present. So being present from the time the woman finds out that she's pregnant with this baby, and then, she's in the part where she's throwing up, and then she's in the part where her legs are swelling, and then she's in the part where, her belly is so big, it's hard to like navigate, right? There's all these parts of the process, but being able, your client is in that process too. Like I want you to think about this. Your prospective client is also going through the stages. There's a stage where they've just seen your post or your video or gotten an email from you. They've just heard about you. Then there's a stage where, they're getting more connected. They're feeling a connection with you because maybe you're sharing your story. Then there's a stage where, maybe it's a little scary for them. They're thinking, oh my gosh, should I work with her? Should I get in this program? Right? So they're fearful. They're not sure. And then there's a stage where they're trying to figure it out. Right? So there's all these stages where they're gradually wanting to work with you. Right? And then you're also going through stages of attracting and nurturing and converting and then enrolling and then delivering your program to them. Does this make sense? Denise said, loving this. How do you remind yourself to get into this energy? That's a good question. I don't know if I have the perfect answer. I definitely don't have the perfect answer, but I will say it feels to me a little bit of like a self-training, meaning last night when I started to go into this kind of amped up energy about the live stream today and about the 3-day sale and getting so focused on the results instead of remembering that I am the result, right? What I mean by self-training is it's almost like I've created in my mind it's like a little red flag situation. Like I've installed a red flag. So when that was happening last night, it was like, ooh, red flag. And when a red flag is happening, I know what to do. Now, that doesn't mean I always do it. There's plenty of times when the red flag goes up and I override it and I'm like, whatever, I need to do this, right? My ego is a little bit stronger in those moments, which is why on the first training that we did for Selling is Sexy, I talked about your mission must be bigger than your ego. So another hack for this would be really revisiting your mission statement every morning, like in your morning routine, so that you can stay connected. The other thing I did in the shower is I did the womb wisdom process that I did on my podcast recently. So if you were to listen to 3 episodes back on my podcast, there's a 15-minute visualization connecting with your womb. And so it's about bringing your energy all the way down and connecting with it there so that you're out of your head. What you can do is start training yourself to go, oh, I'm in my head. And then the more times you take an action to get back in your body, the better. So then you'll start a new habit that way. That's the best advice I could give on that. I don't always do it that way, but the more that I do it, the more that I do it. Yeah. Okay. What else do we want to say? I think I want to share this. Something that came to me again in the shower. There's scientific evidence, by the way. There's an article out there, and I need to find it, about why you get the best ideas in the shower. It's like scientifically proven for a reason. Something about, it's like opening up the channels. It's amazing. Also for me, like being in the dark for some reason, like when I came in here and I just laid in the dark, that was really good. Turning off all the stimuli. This is what came to me. There's no more time for us to wait to embody the leadership that we're here to embody, that we're here, the message that we're here to deliver. There's no more time to waste, right? If we could all wake up to this, and if we were all connecting with our soul tribes, the work would just be inevitable, right? If we were all operating from this space all the time, and the whole world was, we would be exchanging all the time, right? People would inevitably be paying you, right? And you would inevitably be changing their lives. Like it would just be happening. And that's what people talk about, being in the flow. Okay. So being in the flow, it's a fact. It's already done. It's already happening. And the only thing holding you up is you holding you up, right? So there's no better time to embody the energy and master the strategy. Okay. So going back to the pregnancy example, is it helpful if you're going to have a baby that you have a birthing plan, that you learn some of the breathing techniques, that you learn some of the things that you need to do when you're in labor that are going to help you, especially if you want to have a natural birth, let's say? Is it important that you learn from other women who have gone before you? Is it important that you have a doula that's helping you? Absolutely. You could go squat in the forest, but a lot of things could go wrong, you know? That's one way to do it. That's one way to birth your business empire, is go squat in the forest by yourself, right? But you don't have to. You don't have to do it that way. So I got this message around this sense of urgency that we need to do this now. We can't keep going, well, it's hard for me, and it's just taking time. And I'm not saying to push yourself and give birth before you're ready. All I'm saying is we have to be really clear. We get to be really clear on the difference between excuses and fear and legitimately being in a process and honoring the process. Because I'm all about honoring the process. But I feel like majority of the time, it's not about honoring the process. It's about, there's a lot of stuff being made up in our heads as to why we're not ready. Okay. So it's a very fine line. And most of the time it's probably the fear. Okay. So let's see. Okay. Here's the thing about the strategy. The strategy is only 20%. The thing about it is, there's this phrase that one of my first business coaches said. She said, little hinges swing big doors. That's the stuff I'm teaching in Attract Your Soul Tribe, because we do a lot with energy in there. We do a lot of energy work. We do a lot of clearing. There's a lot of coaching around the emotional stuff. But the strategy part that I'm teaching, that's only 20% of your overall game, right? But it's so potent. That 20% is so potent and so powerful and so useful and so effective in converting your soul group into paying clients, that it's really important that you master it, right? Your energy will trump the strategy every time. But when we're trying to scale, we're trying to go bigger, we want to reach more people, that strategy it's going to matter. Just again, going back to the going into labor piece, it's going to matter whether you have a birthing plan and you have a doula and you have all the supplies, right? Your baby could die. So, or your business could die. So it matters that you have the tools. That what if your baby is breech, I don't know, maybe there's, I'm not a doula, but maybe there's like a tool or something for that. So it's important that you have some of the tools and you have someone who knows how to turn the baby around, right? This is the time where we don't have time to mess around anymore. If you've been kind of hovering between where you are and your next level in your business, which is really your next level of you, it's not even about your business. It just shows up in your business, right? It just happens to show up in your business. This is the time, because this is the thing. It's not just about you. Your soul group is waiting for you to show the hell up, right? They're waiting for you to stop being so small and be bigger and brighter and getting back to the sexy thing, like really being in that confidence, embodying, being like, come on, come in the pool. It feels good in here. They're waiting for you to invite them, AKA a call to action. They're waiting for you to be visible to them. They're waiting for you to be vocal and vulnerable and share. They're waiting for you to invite them in the pool. And their consciousness, their evolution, they're where they are until they connect with you. If you believe what I said at the very beginning, that there's a group you're meant to serve. So this is about liberating ourselves from our own chains. And I think what's sexy is that when you have a mentor that holds you as powerful and holds herself as powerful, we talked about this on the first one, that's sexy too, right? When they don't believe your bullshit lies and they're like, no, woman, you are more powerful than that, right? And then you have the next excuse and she says, no, woman, you are more powerful than that. And then you have the next thing, you're like, no, woman, you are even more powerful than that. So she's holding this brilliant container, right, that her soul group gets to step into. This is the cool part. It's as if you yourself are the portal for others' realization of their own message and magic. Think about this. What if your business and your message and the way that you serve, what if that, like, you are the portal for them and you've been shutting it down? Isn't that crazy? What if you are the portal? I have to do a whole live stream just on that, right? Here's another thing about the giving and receiving piece. I'm trying to go through my notes. They were a little convoluted. The way it came to me in the shower, if I could have just gone live in the shower, that would have been the best thing, because it would have just gone like that. So the giving and receiving your own divine message, we live in a realm of duality, right? So it's happening through your soul group. The people who signed up, they signed an agreement to play with you here on earth, right? And so they act as a mirror for you. So it's kind of like the concept of making love to yourself, okay? Like your clients are mirrors to you. Your clients are mirrors to you. Elizabeth said, we are our own oracle. Yes, yes. I wrote a post with that title. It said, you're an oracle. I totally believe that, Elizabeth. And you so are. You totally are. Sari said, I totally wanted to birth alone. I love it. I love it. Well, that's interesting, right? Like, that's actually really interesting. I mean, there's probably some people that are supposed to do it alone, right? But I would say a lot of us are forcing ourselves to do it alone, right? When that's not necessarily our path. I love that, Sari. That's so cool. So yes, we are our own oracle. And so what's happening is we're giving and receiving. And when we cut either parts of those off, then we're not getting that mirroring effect, right? And so that's when you don't feel in flow. That's when it feels stuck. Um, yeah, so it's your clients are acting as a mirror for you to fully show up and experience yourself as you are. But when we're cutting off either parts of those, we're not getting that process to move. I hope that makes sense. So beautiful, a beautiful way of doing this is selling, right? It's selling is built on trust and exchange. So, maybe one day money will be obsolete, but it's not right now. And if you think about it, money is trust. So if I give you $20 in exchange for a product or a service, when I give that to you, I'm trusting, or exchange that with you, I'm trusting that I'm also going to receive back, right? So there's this beautiful process that's happening. Maybe we'll reach a level of consciousness where there's not that transactional, um, I get this for this kind of thing going on, but we're not all living on that level yet. We have a lot to work out. Clearly, we have a lot to work out, right? We're not going to be at that level until we work this stuff out, right? All the meaning that we ascribe to money that's not accurate, all of the meaning we ascribe to sales that's not accurate, right? So we're not going to raise to that level of consciousness until we work through this stuff. Till you get to the point where someone could pay you $50,000 and then you deliver your brilliant whatever work that you do, and you're like, cool. Like you're not making up anything about it. You feel confident, right? Because this is not really about money if you think about it. How often does this show up in every area where you're not believing that you're worth it, or you're not believing that what you have is worthy of the exchange, or you believe that you have to give for free, or you believe that, there's a lot of stuff, right? I love the comments going on. Okay, what else? Okay, I think we're going to get into the 5 energies. These are 5 energies that I have noticed, and maybe you have noticed too. Some of them, well, all 5 of them they intertwine. Okay, so the first one, if you're taking notes or if you want to, is proving energy. And I talked about this with leading retreats. I went from having binders full of handouts to just showing up and deciding the morning of a retreat what I'm going to do that day, right? I went from like extreme to other extreme. And so when I got out of the proving energy, I was able to be in trust. So proving energy, it's the feeling like you have to prove that you're good enough on a sales call, that your program is good enough, that what you have is valuable. Are they going to think that I'm a good person, right? I have to prove I'm a good person. I have to prove that I like to help people. So maybe I have to do something for free, or I can't really delve into their objections too much because I really need to prove that I'm not a bad person, right? So it's a lot around proving that you're worth the money and proving that you're a good person. And so you can go back and listen to some recordings of your enrollment calls, and you can hear where you're improving energy. And so when we listen to your sales calls in our program, we're listening for what's underneath what you're saying and how you're saying it that way. Okay. So that's number 1. Number 2 is greed energy. This is the feeling that you just want to get the sale because you're so focused on getting your next client that you don't care about your client. Okay. Now, most of us don't take this to the extreme, because I think you wouldn't probably be in my Facebook group if you weren't the kind of person that, genuinely cares about your clients and cares about people. And that's why you're doing this work. So it sounds really extreme, but in essence, that's kind of what's happening, right? It's being willing to override some of the messages that you're getting. Have you ever had a situation where someone was willing to invest a large amount of money with you, and you knew that wasn't going to be the best fit. It's not that you couldn't help them or it wouldn't be okay, but it's like you just kind of knew that, you know, your ideal soulmate client is like a level 10 and this person was like right here, or maybe they were like down here, right? They were somewhere below, right? Even if they were really close, almost, but not quite, right? Sometimes that can be because, well, I really need the money, right? And so what's happening is we're choosing, we've talked about this on other live streams, in the archetypes, the prostitute archetype, right? It's like, I'm going to exchange my value for this other lesser value because I'm going to place importance on this thing right now because it's convenient to me right now, because conveniently I need to pay my bills. So I really need this client. So that's greed energy, right? And sometimes it's desperation energy, which is number 3. So I'll get into that. But it puts us in a space of not going for the highest good of all, the highest good of you, the highest good of your client, the highest good of the business, right? If you fill your business with non-soulmate ideal clients or people who are close but not quite, then your business is going to be close but not quite. It's not going to be this orgasmic, amazing, mind-blowing, like, oh my God, I freaking love my business. It's amazing, right? Like you're going to be below that. And it's not always easy, right? Because sometimes you're making hard choices. You're choosing a long-term gain over a short-term gain. So number 3 is desperation energy. So what happens here is when we're in this is very similar to the second one. The desperation energy usually means we have an ulterior motive. And what happens is it's like we just feel desperate, like I really need to take on this client. And so maybe you've done some crazy discounting, or I remember talking to someone and like the more I talked to them, the price just kept getting lower. And I'm like, what is going on here? You know? Because for me, I teach that. With the whole permission to charge brand, like I teach that. So it's funny and interesting to witness when someone's like I'm literally hardly saying anything and they're just, well, I could do it for this much. Well, I could do it for that. Well, actually, I could do it for like, literally it's gone down 3 times and I'm just like, what is going on? Right. And I guess if you want a lower price, you can just, I guess, let them do it. But for me, it's like, wait a minute, what's going on? Because I want value for value, right? I don't want to get something for nothing. That doesn't feel good to me. And so when you're in that desperation energy, you're creating that, right? You're creating that for yourself and for other people. So what's happening is you're devaluing your offering, your program, right? You're losing your position of authority because you're basically saying it's not even that valuable. I'm willing to take you on as a client no matter what, like name your price kind of thing. Okay. And it's got this vibe of like, I'll do anything to get you to buy. So as I'm going through these, please comment below. Let me know if you have ever, been in some of these, if you can relate. Number 4 is doubt energy. So you're just full of doubt. You don't believe in your offering. You're not like over the moon excited about it. You're not able to lean back and be like, this program is the shit. Like, it's the best, right? You're not in that energy. You're in the leaning in, like, I hope you enroll kind of thing, right? So the doubt energy is, I don't think they're going to buy. I don't think they'll pay this much. What if I can't get them results? Oh my gosh. Well, this person just lost their job, so I bet they don't have any money. Like, it's just completely making up stuff, completely doubting. And that's not going to be a level of confidence and certainty, right? Like, that energy is not alluring. Number 5 is fear, which we could wrap all of them into this, right? So it's, what are they going to think of me? What if they don't like me? A lot of it has to do with what are they going to think about me? And it goes into the first one too, being a good person. I can't charge this much. Who am I to charge this much? Well, is it really, like, what if they don't even think it's worth it? Is it really worth it? Well, how could I charge this much, right? Like, it's a whole fear thing. Well, what if I enroll them and then I can't get them results? Okay, that's a whole thing there. Let's go back to the comments. Any insights on how to correct desperation energy if you've already shown that with someone? Oh, okay, that's a cool question. How would I do that if you've already shown it to someone? I feel like my answer is simple. I mean, unless you gave me even more details, I would just correct it, you know, like I would make the decision now of what your standard is going forward and how you're going to operate. And for example, if you were to have a second discovery session with this person, I would say I would address it head on, and I might just say, hey, you know, I've thought a lot about this particular offering and the kind of results my clients have seen from it. So I'm no longer offering blah blah blah. You know, what I'm offering now is this is what it is. This is the price point. So getting yourself to a place of total confidence, and then, oh, the person said you're worth more. I bet they did. I bet they did. Yeah. So it's like sometimes people won't invest if they feel like the price is too little, too, right? I think it's coming to your truth and stating your truth with that person. And then the thing about this is being okay, this could be a whole live stream. Being willing to be at zero. It's kind of like, no, it's not kind of, it is. I'm so confident in what I have to offer that I'm willing to stand at zero. I'm willing, it's like, it's all or nothing. It's this energy of all or nothing, which is an energy of integrity, right? Like there's an integrity within you around your pricing, where you're willing to risk it all and lose it all because you're not going to go down on your value. And wouldn't you do that in a relationship? Wouldn't you do that in any other area of your life, right? Where you would say, like, this is it. This is what it is. And I think the moment that we're willing to look at a zero or a negative amount in our bank account and just own it. This doesn't mean that we're wallowing in it and we stop marketing and now we're depressed and, you know, we're hiding in our house and we don't go on Facebook ever again, right? That wouldn't be owning it. It's coming into a new energy of, I won't accept anything less. I won't work with, my clients need to be here, which is a level 10. I'm not going to work with just quite almost, but not quite there, right? If my price is 5K, I'm not going to go for 4K or 4,987. No, it's 5,000, right? So it's that kind of being willing to be at zero. And while you're willing to be at zero, you don't stop offering what you offer. You don't stop believing in it. You don't stop showing up and sharing online. You don't stop, right? Like you're just all in, all over. So, okay. I just went through that with my group and then I got wobbly because it cleaned out my clients. Yeah, right? And I think that's people's biggest fear, right? That if I raise my prices, I'm going to lose all my clients. And I can't sit here and say that you won't not have certain clients anymore, because some clients will fade out. That is true. They don't have money and are just overwhelmed by raising it, but it takes steps to do it. Yeah, I get it. Okay, let me see. I feel like I can't see all the comments. So we're coming up on the hour soon. I feel like there was a comment that I missed. Why can't I see all the comments? In any case, let's see here. What else do I need to share? One thing I had promised to talk about is what to say when someone says they can't afford it. Now, I'm going to tell you what to say. Even though I talked about not having scripts and things like that, but there's certain things where it's nice to know what would you say. I want to just preface this with, if you've done the whole enrollment process well, okay, this is all the way from your marketing and your positioning. Your sales call started a long time ago, actually, from the moment they discovered you and saw what you do and who you do it for. And maybe they saw some success stories. Maybe they watched a webinar or a live stream. Maybe they saw testimonials and right, they've seen that you're an authority because of the way that you show up and deliver your content. They go, oh, wow, she's the authority on this thing, right? So assuming that's there, now they're on the phone with you or on Zoom, and you've gotten into rapport, you've made a deep connection, you've actually moved them to a place where they're emotional, okay? If you stay on the surface and talk about their problem very much on the surface, or if their problem isn't big enough, if it's just like a little itch on their back that they want scratched, it's gonna be hard to sell a high-end program. But if it's something that's a high-end problem, then you can offer a high-end program, okay? So assuming your enrollment call, all the different phases of a successful enrollment call have been met, and then the person says, I really, like if you've done a good job, they'll say something like this, I really, really want to do this program, but I don't have the money. Like I don't have any money right now. Okay, that's a tough spot, right? Because sometimes someone literally might not have the money in their bank account or on a credit card, or, you know, I mean, they might not have it right then. So this is what I would say. I would verify. Okay, I get it. I've been in that space before. Let me ask you something. Why is this program exactly what you need? And let them reiterate why they need it, why they want it. Okay, so assuming they want it bad, they'll tell you, I really need this because of this, and this. And then I'll say, okay, great. And I would love to work with you. I think that you would be great in this program. So how are you going to afford it? And then I'm silent. And it goes usually a couple different ways. Sometimes they'll go, well, I guess I could put it on my credit card. Great, let's put it on your credit card, right? Well, I guess I could maybe borrow some money. I could ask my dad, right? So these are some of the things that somebody might say. If they come back with the response, which I've heard a lot, they're like, I don't know, like what, like how, right? Then I would say, well, these are some of the things my clients have done to invest in themselves. Take it from their savings account, take it from their 401k, take it from their credit card, borrow money from a parent or spouse or something like that, family member, get a loan, or sell something. These are all some of the things that you could do in order to solve X problem. Work with me and solve X problem. And then I'm also silent again, like let them see what their options are. Again, if the problem that you're solving is not that big of a deal to them and it doesn't bother them that much, then this isn't going to work. This is why you want to verify that if you've done everything well and you've come to the point where, wow, this is really affecting their life. Like, this is a big deal. If they don't change this bad thing is going to happen, or this is going to get worse. And when this gets worse, this is what it's going to look like for them. That's something in Attract Your Soul Tribe. We're really clear on helping you get to the point where you can paint a picture for your clients of where they are now and where they could be, right? Because if someone's has their blinders on and they're like, it's not that big of a deal, then you get to call them out on it and say like, well, it sounds like it's not that big of a deal for you to improve your autoimmune disease. Sounds like it's not that important to you. They might get really defensive or whatever. Like maybe you do relationship coaching or you do business coaching. It sounds like it's not that important for you to hit 10K months right now. No, it is. It's like, okay. So, I mean, this is if they're just totally like unwilling to get resourceful, which by the way, you don't really want to work with people that aren't willing to get resourceful, because that's how they're going to show up in the coaching. Hey, Colleen. Okay, so we have 7 minutes left before I want to answer questions. So what questions do you have? I just walked you through how to handle I can't afford it. Sometimes that is showing you that they're not an ideal client, and you can address that in your application so that you're not talking to people that aren't going to be resourceful and be able to figure out how they can pull the money together. If it's something they really want and need, right? So I want to answer questions while I'm waiting for you all to just post some of your questions. I want to remind you that if you are feeling called to get the savings on Attract Your Soul Tribe, you have until Sunday night at midnight to message me and get the link, and we'll get you in the program. What we're going to do is we're going to work together from December 9th to January 7th. We're going to take, I did this last time, I'm like over here struggling. And I have water right next to me. December 9th to January 7th, we're going to work together. There's going to be probably 20 of us max. Usually we always have about 20. And I'm selling 20 spots. So there's 16 spots left. We're going to have 20 of us max together, and we're going to work together all the way through the holiday, all the way into the new year, which I think is really, really special. So from December 9th until around Christmas time, we're going to take a week off during the holiday. That way you'll have a whole week where you can dive into the materials, you can practice, you don't have to stop, but we'll just give you like an extra week to implement, an extra week to just take a break. If you just want to be on vacay mode, that's fine. And then we'll pick it back up at the 1st of January, and we'll go all the way till January 7th. So that way it's a 21-day immersion, but you have a break in between for the holiday, because I couldn't figure out how to address that. And then one of my friends was like, just take a break. I'm like, okay, it's not that hard, right? Don't we complicate things? So what that means is we're actually going to be working together for almost a month. We're going to have the Facebook group. And the reason why this program is so successful, and you've seen me share lots of testimonials of coaches who are saying things like, oh my gosh, I got 3 discovery sessions from a post, or oh my gosh, I did $16,000 in sales just from one Facebook post, or oh my gosh, I filled 2 spots in my retreat from one Facebook post, right? It is a long-term strategy. So when I say these testimonials, I don't want any of you to go like, oh my God, it's drive-through enlightenment. No, it does work immediately, but it's also a long-term strategy, right? So some people, depending on where they were at in the program or where they were at in their business growth, it took them a little longer to see those kind of results because they were never posting on Facebook before, or Instagram or LinkedIn, right? Everything I'm teaching you in this program is about messaging and the energy behind your messaging. And you can apply it to every marketing that you do. So every email you send, every video that you do, every live stream that you do, every post that you make, every time you go to a networking event or whatever, it has to do with your messaging. So you can apply it across the board, but we will be asking you to post every day, or at least make an email or make a video or something. But every day you're going to put out a piece of content. You could reuse old pieces of content, but you're going to use the formula that I give you. You're going to do it every day for 21 days. We're going to work on the formula of the messaging. So we're going to work on your copy. That's the masculine part of it. Like, we are going to learn a few copywriting skills that are basic, but that completely change the game. Okay, so that you are actually emotionally engaging the people that are reading your posts and watching your videos, instead of just inspiring them and then they don't do anything. They're like, you're so awesome, you're so amazing. And then you're like, well, how come nobody's booking discovery session? If I'm so awesome, how come people watch my videos and then don't take action? So we're going to shift that. I'm going to show you why that's happening. I talked a lot about why that's happening on another training in this group called the 5 Marketing Mistakes. So if you need more information, you can definitely watch that. It's kind of a long training, but that'll enlighten you as to why you're not getting the results that you want. Elizabeth, no drive-through. Yeah, no drive-through enlightenment here. So we'll be doing the copy piece, but then we'll be doing the energy piece and looking at some of the mindset blocks, some of the stuff that's keeping you from being as visible as you are. So for some of you, I know that you're totally visible. That's not really the problem anymore, but for some of you it is. You're still stuck on the visibility piece. So for some of you, it's deeper than that. It's ancestral pieces where, you were burned at the stake in another life. And so now it just feels really scary to really put yourself out there. For some of you, it feels really icky and salesy to make a call to action, or to post every day feels really icky. So we address all of the stuff that's getting in your way from just being that full expression of your message. Like, who cares, right? But you do care. So we have to look at that. We have to look at what are the pieces and the beliefs that are keeping that together. And once that's released, it's a lot easier for you to use the tools and the strategies and show up every day. You can get your divine download, put it into the container that I'm giving you, right? Putting it into the formula and sharing it. And then you're going to start to see that people are emotionally engaging with your posts, like that you're activating them emotionally, and they're messaging you, or they're commenting, or they're booking on your calendar from your emails and from your posts or your live streams and your videos. I think I've enrolled about 80 people in Attractor Soul Tribe, all through social media posts. So if you want to get in, all you need to do is private message me, and we'll give you the savings. It's a $100 savings. So it's $297. And if you are not in a container right now that's going to take you through the new year, that is, you know, a daily level of accountability for you boldly sharing your message, making strong calls to actions and invitations to work with you, this will be a really good place for you to be. You'll get the call to action Bible, which I think is amazing. Oh, Sherry wants to know, how is the content of the program delivered? Okay, I'm going to answer that in a second. I would love you to be in the program, Sherry, by the way. I think you would love it. So let me get to that in one quick second. You're going to get the call to action Bible. You're going to get the love-based social media strategy guide. You're going to get sales coaching. Okay. You're going to have calls where I'm going to look at your marketing. I'm going to look at your results statement. I'm going to look at your messaging. I'm going to look at some of the posts that you've made, right? So that you start to master this. So the way it's delivered is as soon as you enroll, you get the membership site. So there's 6 core modules. They're very short. One is like 15, one's like 30. It's probably about 2 hours of core content. Then there's 2 coaching calls per week on Zoom. Okay. And then we have 2 expert sales coaching calls as well. So technically it's going to be a 30-day program, even though, because we have Christmas, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's usually about 8 calls total where you get to pop on and ask me questions. You can share your screen. You were in the academy, Sherry, so you know how I roll. It's going to be that level of intensity, right? So you'll be able to share your screen, show me things, that kind of thing. So there'll be 2 coaching calls a week. What else do I need to say? We have the Facebook group so that you can communicate with the other ladies, kind of cheer each other on. You can look at each other's messages and give each other feedback. We give prizes too. Get lots of prizes inside there for showing up, doing the work. You do have to sign an agreement that you will post every day for 21 days. Okay, so I don't want anyone in there that's not going to do the work. It's really, really important because this is building a habit, right? So maybe you post right now. If you post already, that's great. But if you're looking to like really dial it in with your messaging, this will help you, because most of the time people online, mainly coaches, there's 2 things that they're not doing. One is they're not emotionally activating people. So they're not delivering their content in a way that really like gets people going inside to where they want to take action and solve the problem. It's more like inspirational content or kind of food for thought type of content, but it's not moving people to take action. The second thing that people are doing is they're just not making calls to action. Or if they do, they make really wimpy calls to action. So that's the purpose of the call to action Bible. There's a word bank in there so you can find the right words that you need to make your transitional statements so that it flows and you don't feel all awkward about making a call to action, which once we do the mindset stuff, you won't. But it's still good to just know the words that you can say that fit right in there. So there's word banks, there's templates, there's examples of calls to action. You can really take it and use it to make it your own. You should never again be wondering how to make a call to action. That's why I made the call to action Bible, so that you're never wondering. Then I have all these headline prompts, right? If you struggle to come up with like subject lines or headlines for your posts or your emails or your titles of your webinar, titles of your live streams. People will not watch your live streams if you don't have a good title. They won't read your posts if you don't have a good title. They won't open your emails if you don't have a good title. Sherry said, done, sign me up. Cool. I'm so excited to work with you again. So I will send you the link as soon as this is over. Yeah, so normally it's $397, which is, I mean, I'll just tell you, ladies, that it's a way for us to work with the community, get you really, really good results. And then hopefully you want to keep working with us, right? So it's a really, really good price. But those of you that have been in it, or like Sherry, you've worked with me in the past in the academy, you know the level that we deliver at is insane. So it's, I don't know how else to say it, but it's a really good price for a really good value. It's probably more value than for the price, to be honest. So we did that purposefully because we just want you to say yes to yourself and just get in there, get the mentorship, totally get amazing results, and then we'll have established a coaching relationship, and then we can discover if we want to continue from there. So that's why we're doing it and why we have made it the price that it is, because I don't have any other programs at that price that have coaching with me. Yeah. So I'm really excited. It's gonna be fun. I think I've handled all the questions. Elizabeth said, AYST has helped me shift my mindset of sharing only inspirational to posting with my inspirational voice and market myself authentically. Yes, I love that. Cool. Well, thank you so much. I hope you all have a wonderful day. Since my car was stolen, I am going to go car shopping. And hopefully I'll get a new car soon. So that's what I'm doing today. I know some of you have messaged me and things like that, so I will be responding. If you private message me, I'll send you the link. Let's see. Oh, Colleen asked a really good question. Is this best for those who engage mostly on Facebook, or can this work for Instagram? Yeah, one of our ladies, Augustina, was in the program, and she's heavy into Instagram. She has like 50,000 followers. So that's kind of her playground. And she gave us a testimonial. She had like 15 people responding. I know Kwaku uses these strategies on Facebook. Instagram. Kwaku grew his Instagram from 0 to 20,000 in 1 year, which is awesome. I'm still at like 3,800. So we definitely have people using these strategies on Instagram for sure. The thing is, it's about messaging, right? It's all about messaging. So wherever you're doing messaging, you can use what we're teaching you. The whole point is that your messaging emotionally activates people so that they reach out to you. So I think it probably would I say that it works better on Instagram or Facebook? I don't know if it works better. I feel like it depends where you have engagement. I have most of my engagement on Facebook, so I find it works better on Facebook. But for someone who's highly engaged in Instagram, it might give them better results on Instagram because that's where they're hanging out more. So Sari wants the link. Okay, cool. Absolutely. I will send you all the link for sure. Everyone who wanted it. All right. I'm going to go handle my business, talk to insurance adjusters, and all the fun stuff related to that. And thank you so much for being here. I hope you have an awesome weekend, and I can't wait to work with you all. We'll start on December 9th. Liz wants to know if this is in the academy. Yes, since you are an academy member, Liz, you are going to be automatically, because you're a current academy member, I should mention, you're going to be automatically in AYST with me. So don't worry about that. If someone joins the academy while I'm running it, I always let them be a part of it because it's so critical that you're a part of this and that you get this information. So yes, on that, Liz, absolutely. Colleen wants the link too. Cool. Okay, well, I've got several people to message right now, and then I'll be out and about. I'll check my messages today for sure, and tomorrow and Sunday, just private message me. And I really look forward to working with you ladies. Okay, bye everyone.